It's me, Kate. I am so excited that you are listening to this podcast. Over the years of my experience, while I was finding myself, learning who I am, crafting my story, and helping other people do the same thing, that I've seen that sharing your story, crafting your story helps you not only find out who you are, but it truly helps you become vulnerable. And through vulnerability comes healing. And I have seen one person after another turn into this powerhouse, finding their inner power and using that to manifest the things that they want, turn it into their business opportunity, and learn to also go and inspire and encourage people around the world, sharing the things that they've healed from, and then be able to go inspire others to do the same. So I encourage you to unplug from the world and plug into this episode, because inside this episode, you're going to hear an individual share some life lessons, some inner pain that they had to go through, some of this vulnerability that helped them become who they are today. And that might even just help you find that one little piece of seed that will be planted into your life that will help you bloom and blossom and become that powerhouse individual that you need to help you grow your business, to help you with your family, help you with your friends, whatever it may be. So come, listen, let's get into it. Hey there, I am so excited to introduce to you Alma. She has really touched my heart. This individual, she just is such a special lady. I got a message from her on Facebook a couple months ago, and she just shared a little bit about herself. And as she was starting to open up to me, I knew that there was something that was so special about her, this inner power, that we needed to get her on this episode and share a little bit about herself and her life, so that we can maybe encourage you that are listening to see that it is okay to be vulnerable. It is okay to show who you are and share your story, because she touched my life, and I know she's going to touch your life. So welcome, Alma. I'm so glad you're doing this episode with me.
Thank you. It is great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. I cannot wait for us to dive into this and truly get into what you were sharing with me in your message to me. So first, though, let's talk about a little bit about where you're from and just a little bit about who you are.
So I am from Austin, Texas, originally. I come from a family, very tight-knit. Culture is just very conservative growing up. We went to church every Sunday, Catholic church, and we just we didn't really go outside of that. But growing up in Austin to explore and just loving being close to family and friends and things like that. And I have a degree in geography, but my passion is in health and fitness. So I'm a personal trainer.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so I've been doing that since 2008, and I love it. I love all my clients. I love how I can
know that about you.
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about just how was like your life growing up? How many siblings? Do you have any siblings? What was that like growing up? Were you close to your
Yeah.
family?
Yeah. So my mom is originally from Mexico. My dad is from Texas, but they're both Hispanic. And I have one older brother, one older sister, and then I have a younger sister who's 7 years younger than me. So there was this dynamic, kind of funny, where, I thought I was the baby, and then boom, I had a sister born, and then it was just kind of like, okay, move over, forget about you. We have to take care of this baby. And me growing up, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. I'm sorry. No, my mom worked a lot. That was quite the opposite. My mom worked, both my parents worked. But then when my sister was born, it was the opposite. So my mom became stay-at-home. My dad worked full-time. I didn't really, it was that traditional middle-class family where you didn't really see your parents. But you played outside, you played in the street until the street lights came on, and then you came inside.
Yeah.
Not really any, the way it is today. But I just remember it being, my childhood was pretty fun as far as, growing up. But then I remember it that way up to the age 10. And then something in my memory, you know, I have a lot of actually blocked out memories. I have to try really hard to think back to when I was younger.
Yeah.
Middle school was really where I had a big shift because
Mhm.
my dad got a job with the Department of Commerce. He was pretty high up there with the government, and we ended up moving to Laredo, which was a totally different culture for me. It was a border town. It was 6 hours from where I grew up. A lot of people spoke Spanish, and even though we were Hispanic, it was not our first language. So I got bullied a lot. I got bullied. I it was just a really horrible time for me.
Hmm.
Um, Going into junior high, I got plucked from all my elementary friends, and then I went into junior high, experiencing this whole new world, really.
Yeah.
And you know, like I said, my sister was 7 years younger, so a lot of um, attention went to her. And you know, I'm okay saying that. It's just now that I have kids, I get it. You know, I have a younger, younger one that's 3.5 years younger than the other. And it's just, you know, different kids have different needs. But at the time, I really, really needed my mom, really needed a female figure. And I just felt like I didn't have that. You
So
know,
that
I
kind of
know.
made you turn, kind of go inward. Did you end up kind of going inward and not sharing your feelings as much?
I was very shy. I
Yeah.
was very shy. I was very introverted. You know, people would come up, kids would come up and try to be friends with me. And, you know, it's just really hard for me to open up, to trust anyone, to feel like, you know, they could understand where I was coming from. So, um, you know, I just remember.
Had you had times where you felt like you wanted to tell your mom how you felt and you didn't feel like you could? Or did you never even
Yeah,
think about talking to
you
her about
know, I think, no, I remember when I tried to reach out to her. Um, you know, and it's a whole other thing. You know, my mom grew up also very conservative, and I'm just assuming she came from a family of 10 kids. So
Wow.
I'm sure she got lost in the mix, you
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
So yeah, so I feel like I try to talk to my mom. Like I said, I can't really remember. It's kind of weird. That I can't remember exact conversations. I remember mostly feelings, and then I felt like I tried to talk to her. Like my inner voice was wanting that dialogue, wanting that screaming for help, but then, you know, saw her preoccupied, you
Hmm.
know, with other things, or another person, another child. So
Yeah.
um, I would just kind of, you know, and also another thing is I didn't have anything to my of my own that I could really call my own. We lived in a house where, you know, there's 4 kids, and there was 3 bedrooms, and I had to share a room with my parents. Like, who shares a room? You know, it was real. I didn't have my own
Wow.
room.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
That's
have my own room. Yeah, so I felt, and I was in junior high. So, you know, think about all
mm,
this like change that's
yeah.
happening in your, you know,
Junior
that's my
high, being a girl, all that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, that's, you know, I have a daughter that just turned 12. So for me it was a
Hmm.
huge deal. You know,
Yeah.
I'm um you know, only almost to the opposite extreme, just making sure
Mm.
she has that voice and space. And,
Yeah.
you know, I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have that voice. I didn't have a space to call my own.
Hmm.
And I didn't realize until I became an adult how much that actually damaged me, you
Wow.
know, in more ways than I can, you know, realize.
Yeah. So
So,
let's get a little bit, let's go into that one place that you shared with me. Where you got very vulnerable in your message to me. And
yeah.
and it was, it's a very, very, very dark place to be, right, in your life. And do you feel like that was, share that a little bit? Is that where you probably you hit rock bottom the most in your life? Was that time as you're a teenager and you were going through all that?
Oh,
So
well,
what
no, that was,
happened to you?
yeah. So that was the beginning, I would say. and I remember vividly leaving that message to you. I guess I just had this like epiphany, like, wow, coming back from Florida and just being part of everything that we did there and the event. I was thinking to myself, I just really wanted to reach out, and I felt I could talk to you and, the whole new women group, and just tell you, I just had this overwhelming feeling of like, wow, I think I finally feel seen, feel heard. When I grew up, yeah, and I first got introduced to hormones, and I actually wasn't introduced to hormones just when they happened to me,
Right. We all go through
I
them,
didn't
right?
anyone yeah, yeah, when it happened to me, I remember standing in the bathroom, and yeah, I had bloodstained panties, sorry, TMI, but I was a little kid, and I was just kind of shocked, like, what is this? And I called for my mom. She was scurrying out the door with my younger sister to go somewhere, and I remember she just looked, and she's like, yep, that's your period. I'll be right back. And then just rushes out the door, and I'm just kind of like, this is huge. Like, what am I supposed to do? And honestly, I don't even know what I did after that. Like, that memory is so blocked. But the scene, the visual of me standing there and seeing what I saw, and just how scared I was, how confused I was.
Yeah.
And then just being like, just the door slammed in my face, basically.
Wow.
Yeah, and I would say that was my introduction, almost like, like, oh, we don't talk about it, you just deal with it, kind of is the perspective I got as a 12-year-old little girl. So then, yeah, I had to I don't even know who introduced me to pads or tampons or anything. I ended up going to school, and I had an older sister. Her and I were like older oil and water. We did not get along at all. She did not want anything to do with me. We got into horrible fights where she would just pull me by my hair, and so it's like,
Wow.
it was just
Reminds me a
not
little bit of my fights with my sister.
yeah. So it's just, that was a daily basis. And so I couldn't really turn to her to ask her, about it. I don't remember ever asking her or her ever helping me. So I was just lost. I was lost. And then I would go to school. Of course, now I have these hormones raging inside me and not understanding what's going on. I have I remember a group of boys just relentlessly teasing me. I mean, I would walk down the hall, and they would just call me all kinds of names, and, I remember they would try to touch me, and, I was too scared to go and talk to anybody about it, to an adult. I just didn't feel I could trust an adult. I felt ashamed. So that was the beginning of a very self like hate, and really just, where I didn't love myself. I was very embarrassed. I was very ashamed. And yeah, and fast forward to like 16 now, few years past. We're back in Austin, and I remember I was just really, really depressed. Things had really not gotten any better moving back to Austin and going back to high school, junior high. I was in seventh grade at the time, or eighth grade, I'm sorry, at the time. And I just remember just deciding I was going to take a bottle of pills. I don't even know what they were. I think they were maybe like Benadryl or something. And I just remember taking them, and I overdosed on them. And I went out to the living room, and I had a humongous headache, and I was just kind of like bent over. My older brother still lived in the house, and he was in college. He gave me a glass of milk. I remember him giving me a glass of milk.
Okay.
And I don't know, yeah, I don't know what that was about, but it made me very nauseous. And so I just started throwing up, and the pills were coming out as I don't know. Maybe he knew that that was a remedy.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know. But I just started throwing up. So my parents, of course, they freak out and they just take me to the hospital. And, when I went to the hospital, they were uh, giving me this black tar that a powder or some or drink that you're supposed to take to just get everything out of your system.
Mm.
That was my rock bottom. I feel like that was, I was 16. I just was screaming for somebody to see me, somebody to love me. It was hard. It was really hard. And it didn't really get any better.
What was
You
it
know, I
that
never.
helped you though? Like so as you look back now and you look at that
Mhm.
rock bottom moment and it like you felt like nothing was going to change in your life, what was that pivoting moment for you that you said that you just started to realize that you needed to get onto a better path, find
Mhm.
who you really were, and then you started to get like that help that you needed and saw the change in your life?
You know, so I was pretty I was pretty messed up until I got into college. And then being in college and really going after a degree and just deciding, realizing, um, I'm going to, if I want to have a better life, then I need to make better decisions for myself. Um, now I'm older. I had couple boyfriends already passed, and I've learned a little bit more about life. And so I think just getting my college degree really helped me realize that, started to kind of tear down that um, wall that I had, to realize that, oh, you are somebody. You can do more than what your parents are just telling you that you can.
Mm.
They're very old school in the way of we we're Catholic, so we're gonna, that's the religion you're gonna follow. And this A, B, and C is everything that we have to do. And then you go and you work this job from 9 to 5, you come home, there's no dreams involved, there's no passion involved. It's
Yeah.
like you just stick to this regimen and you'll be okay.
Mm.
You'll get through life, right? And I just wasn't built that way. And it really created turmoil. And I think college really helped me because of the classes I took,
Mm.
philosophy and psychology, and just, learning, world cultures, and just learning about, the world and life, and
Yeah.
just, and so that really helped me. And then of course, actually achieving that Bachelor of Science degree and crossing that stage
Mm-hmm.
felt so good. So,
Amazing.
yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. Honestly, not a lot of people, we just take it for granted, right? That a lot of people we just think that people go to school, people accomplish those type of degrees or different things like that. But, there's some families that go through generation to generation and they've never had someone, go to school or finish school. And it truly gives you a powerful feeling to say, I accomplished that, right? You went through, you told yourself you'll do it and you followed through, right? For yourself. And I
Yeah.
think that's what gave you confidence. Like that saying that when you start to follow through and you keep to the promises that you made for yourself, that you actually build confidence in yourself. That makes you go and do something bigger and even better after that. So I think that because you kept that promise to yourself, you went through the schooling, you felt accomplished, it gave you something not only for yourself now, right? Because you said at the beginning, like you never had anything that was like kind of your own. Well, that's your own, right? You
Yeah.
literally found yourself in a place where this is where my identity, this is my degree, this is what I can do. And you made that for yourself and that gave you confidence. And I think that is a key, really key as I listen to you share,
Mm-hmm.
help a lot. And I think that, Alma, when you go through things in life, and some of the some of the biggest people that go through so much pain end up being tremendous healers.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you go through pain and you go through life, I truly believe that those are the people that end up having an extremely a deep gift of helping others heal. So let's connect. You found this amazing gel. What has the gel done for you?
Oh my gosh. So yeah, the gel, just like I tell everybody, the gel, it's no exaggeration when I said it literally saved my life. Like that is no exaggeration. So, old demons always creep up, and I had been very, I've always struggled with depression, and it hit me really hard maybe, after I had my kids, because my hormones were all over the place. So I was married for 10 years, and I've been divorced for 4, but when this last year and a half, I went through postmenopause a year and a half ago, or went through menopause. And that's when I first got introduced to the gel. I said, okay, I need to find something. I don't want to go to a doctor because I don't want to be put on just estrogen. Like I know what my body needs. My body needs something more. And so I just overheard somebody talking about the gel, and I said, "What are you talking about?" And I immediately rushed her to my house and had her order me a bottle. And the rest is history. She was kind of like, "Oh, I don't get to practice my, introduction to you." And I'm like, "Just order it. Just order it. I need it like tomorrow."
That's hilarious.
So yeah, so the gel for me, like I said, it saved my life. It really took me away from not that depressive feeling anymore, that depression. I was able to, I'm a single mom now. I was able to really handle my kids with more grace, and able to kind of let go of some stress. And so with that, the cortisol just lets go. And so I lost some weight. I leaned out, I just started having
You're
the
looking
energy.
fabulous.
Thank you. I'm able to have the energy to be there for my kids. I'm not a young mom. I had my daughter at 39. I had my son at 42. I just turned 52, if you can believe it.
I would never guess that.
Thank you. And I mean, it is something I will never, when I talk to other women that are, around my age or older, I'm like, this saved my life. It is not an exaggeration. I just kind of tell them, this is the best thing that you can try. You have to give it a chance. You have to give yourself that chance. And I just think back to when I was younger, and like, for me, the gel is that kind of that saving grace, that person, that thing that I needed to just give me that chance to help myself, and so very special. Yeah, that's what it did for me.
Well, what would you leave having somebody listening to this? What would you leave them with? Some encouragement, some insight? If you were talking to the women right now, face to face, what would be something that you would want to give into their life and share with them?
So, something that I practice on the daily, and I know that you practice too, is, with our mindset. And I practice meditation. I've been allowing myself to evolve more in that practice. But what I would tell people, encourage women, is no matter what life throws at you, life is going to keep going on. Everything outside of what you're thinking in your mind, everything outside of that is going to keep going. People are going to pass you by, experiences are going to pass you by, but just don't let life pass you by. And what I mean by that is your mind is so strong, is such a powerful tool. And I'm really trying to get through this podcast without crying.
It's okay. This is where you can be real and vulnerable.
but your mind is such a powerful tool, and if you allow yourself to give yourself that chance, that opportunity, that love, you know, and just let go of everything that doesn't serve you, you will find peace. And you'll be very surprised of how much abundance that you'll gain from that. You know, I practice gratitude, and I'm so thankful every single day, you know, for just, even maybe if a check bounced or something, I'm still going to practice gratitude, because, you know, life is so much more than that. And when you can evolve to that level, you'll find so much more peace.
Amazing. And you are evolving so much, Alma, and I'm so excited to see, you know, what this year has for you and what it's going to happen for you. I truly believe that this is your year. There's just going to be a defining moment of who Alma really is, and we're going to see that. And I'm so excited. So thank you so much for getting on this and doing this. I cannot wait to have you back on this again as we start to see you evolve and start to really grow, and have you come back on and hit on some deeper key things that you've experienced and witnessed, and be able to help the other women listening to apply to their life. So thank you, Alma, so much for getting on this and sharing. So I feel like it's just the surface of your life, and we haven't even really dove deeper into who you really are, and I can't wait to get to know you more. So
thank you so much, Kate. I loved being on here, and I'm so thankful for you.
Follow Alma, get to know her, reach out to her. If you're ever feeling alone, if you're ever feeling like that, you're just kind of at that place where you don't know what to do, know that we're here for you, and reach out to us. Share with us what you're going through, so that we can be a light and be that encouragement, and that you can share our belief in you until you can find that belief in yourself. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.